Remarks of the President at a dedication of a low-rent housing project, Austin Oaks, in Austin, Texas, the 14th of December, 1968.
In 1938, under President Roosevelt's administration, we rolled up our sleeves and pledged our people that we were going to remake America by trying to make available to every family a house that they could own. And what a wonderful goal that was, and what a wonderful achievement it could have been. We started it here in Austin, Texas, the first housing project under the Slum Clearance Act in 1938. Well, the first allotment was made to Austin, Texas. We built the project at the lowest cost of any project anywhere in the nation. The rentals for the inhabitants of those housing projects were the lowest rentals anywhere in the nation. And we just thought we had really done something big. But I can't think of any action that I've ever taken in public life, and I've taken a good many that generated opposition, that generated more than that first project. The city council voted to create the housing authority, and I got on the train and started back to Washington very contented. I got to Texarkana, the train stopped and they called me off, and it was the mayor, and he said, "You better get back to Austin. Mr. Gillis has changed his mind, and this vote of 3-2 has changed 3-2 the other way, and we don't have a housing project anymore." So I came back down and I went to a radio station, KNOW, and asked them if they would let me talk to the people of Austin, and they graciously gave me the time. And I talked about O. Henry describing this beautiful city under the violet crown here in Austin. And then I pictured the housing conditions 2 or 3 blocks from Congress Avenue and 2 or 3 blocks from the Driscoll Hotel, where a family of 8 or 10 were living in one room, 20 by 25 or 30, and 110 people drinking out of one hydrant in the central place, and all of them using a outdoor toilet in the center of the capital, the city under the violet crown. And I asked anyone that objected to this housing project, that didn't understand it, to come to the courthouse and we would explain it the next night. And the next night I went up there and I had to get the sheriff's office and the police department to get me up the rails. It was running over. We had an overflow crowd, and nearly everyone in town was opposed to it. And finally, men like Mr. Perry and Colonel Eilers and others came to my rescue, and with a strong mayor's leadership, we launched the first project. Since then, we've built 34 million homes in America. We have partially remedied the condition that existed, but you only have to pick up the morning paper and look at any campus in the country, or look at any city in the land, or look at any tenant farmer or any poor man's rural home to see that our housing is still totally inadequate. I have signed more than 500 major measures as a member of Congress, and perhaps in a century from now, 10 of those measures will be remembered as outstanding. If I were to look back upon the 10 measures that I know that have been passed in the 188 years of our government, I would list the Housing Act of 1968 as one of the 10 most important. I don't want to get into a lot of statistics, but our big problem is this: when a man wants to have a house, he goes out, and by the time he gets his plans and he gets his lot and he gets his contract and he gets the house built, it's already about 3 times more than he can pay for, particularly if he's a poor man. So the poor man just don't get the houses built for them. We have tried to take the folks that I have seen living in one room and build these homes at a cost where the individual that's buying it for his family can pay $25 or $30 a month. Now, if we can do that by mass production, if we can do that by modernizing our building techniques, if we can do that with the proper credit programs, such as Congressman Patman's been fighting for all of his life, then we can have truly home ownership for every American family. But we haven't in 30 years. And we started here and we have failed. And because we've failed, we have all the restlessness and the disorder in the cities, because people who cannot eat in a decent place and cannot sleep in a decent place and cannot grow up in a decent place are just not going to be decent citizens. They get out a lot of the time. And I think one of the number one problems in this country is being able to build a home that is in the means of an average family and the poorest families among us. When I became president, there were a lot of things that I wanted to do. Some of them been done. Far too many remain to be done. We haven't been able to get to them. But I said the other day, and I hope those that heard me will forgive me for repeating, that my goals were very simple ones. I wanted a house for every family. I wanted food for every family. I wanted schools for every family. I wanted health for every family. And I wanted those families to be able to have all of those things in an environment that was conducive to producing good citizens. Now we have 20 million people above 65 enjoying Medicare. And we have 17 million people under 12 or 13 enjoying elementary school aid. And we're now trying to build 26 million homes. How well we'll do, we'll have to see during the next 10 years. But this is the beginning. All of that money can be paid back with interest if we can find a formula where we can build a house that costs not too much, where the average American can afford to pay for it. And I found out 34 years ago that the thing that every woman in this country wants more than anything else in a material way is a house that she has title to or hopes to get title to. I fought it off for 10 or 15 years, but the time came, I got moved out into our own home, and I've been thankful ever since. And it's just such a wonderful thing for us that I just wish that every family in America could have the same pleasures that are ours, and that's what we're working for. Thank you very much.